Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Friday, March 21st, 4:53 p.m. coming to you from Fort Lauderdale with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. State of the market, we're still in a moderate correction. Market leaders, we still have a down arrow, but with the neutral sub arrow, we do have a 21 over 21 list that is holding up well and moving higher after today's gap down reversal. Short term, we're still below the 21 EMA on all major indexes, and therefore we still have a red arrow. Medium term, red arrow as well. Long term, neutral with a red sub arrow to a longer term downtrend if we do break down from here. What happened today? Bulls defend another gap down to close the week green, and this marks the first green week, although it's just marginal, up 0.3% on the week in the last after 4 weeks straight down. 21 over 21 list up 0.13%, 8 up, 0 neutral, 13 down. Big 8 was the leader and why the market cap weighted indexes finished green today. Big 8, the mega caps up 1.47%, RG8 up 0.29%, S&P up 0.08%, RSP down 0.46%, QQQ up 0.33%, QQEW down 0.17%. You can see the contrast between the S&P, Qs, and then their equal weighted indexes. The Dow Jones up 0.08%, mid caps down 0.51%, small caps down 0.56%. Global 60/40 equities bonds down 0.15%, and GROTECTION pretty much flat, down 0.02%. Now, jumping right into the S&P 500, as always, I'm going to go on a 5-minute chart and show that we had about a 50 basis point gap down. We followed through, rallied, tried following through again, but found support. And after that, we had pretty much a choppy rally throughout the day, based, and then we ripped into the close, making a new high of the day. And once again, the bulls found support. I had this bear flag drawn like this, but now we've reclaimed that range of the bear flag. It's the thing with bear flags in these arbitrary diagonal lines. Now it expands the flag like this. So now we're still in the range, but we're still forming a bear flag at the same time. 21 EMA is almost through the 200 now, 50 days still declining. Continue on, RSP, same thing, gap down, found support below the 200. QQQ, even a little bit stronger. Gap down, found support because mega cap tech was acting strong. Once again, this was my bear flag, so we did gap down below the bear flag, but now with this hold, this becomes the new bear flag. And it's definitely a typical bear flag you see here. Big move down, wedging action on declining volume. So really, I think below 472.91, and this triggers the bear flag break. Equal weighted, same thing. Sloppier chart here, find support as well. Dow Jones, same thing. Gap down and almost reclaim the 200 on the Dow Jones, but end up closing below 42,000. Mid caps, weaker, didn't even fill the gap, didn't reclaim yesterday's range. Similarly with small caps, still did not fill the gap as well. So small caps, mid caps, definitely weaker with mega cap tech stronger today. VIX below 20, which is the first good sign that volatility is drying up, but it's still quite elevated here. Dollar, we start to reverse on the dollar after Trump's inauguration. Dollar slid a decent amount, and now we're starting to curl up here. Gold, with the dollar strong, gold is pulling back a bit, but still trending nicely above the 21 EMA. Nothing wrong with gold. Same with nothing wrong with gold miners either. Really just retesting the top of this left side peak out of this coupling handle. Silver, same thing. You can call this a failed breakout for now, but still found support at 21 EMA. It's still with an uptrend, looking healthy. And then Bitcoin remains quite weak, kind of forming a bear flag here actually on the 150-day for IBIT below the declining 21 EMA. Going to bonds. Bonds have been quite volatile as well. After the FOMC, we saw rates decline and bonds bid up, but rates are starting to rise again, and therefore the 10-year note pulled back. What is interesting is short rates today actually finished lower, while long rates finished a tad higher. With that said, that's it for the inter-asset correlation. Now onto the tail of the tape. Moderate correction. VIX is below 20. Still operate under the bear case. Sustained break below the 21 EMA. No significant news today to talk about. No economic data, earnings, just a few earnings, but nothing too much to talk about there. Keys came in today, watching S&P versus 200-day, finished below that. RSP versus 200-day, finished below that as well. And the Qs versus 200-day. Leaders, I marked that as neutral because we did have decent action, but not wildly bullish action. Day count consolidate, 4 days of consolidation to 5 days of consolidation. 3 days above the 8 EMA, 20 days below the 21 EMA. Expectations are still negative. Once again, I said we gapped down, rallied with the chop, based, and then ripped into new highs on the day. Some strong sectors today. Short bonds were up, long bonds were down. ARK was up, mega caps, IBB, biotech, pharma, communications, discretionary, and tech. Dollar was up. This should be in the green column. Real estate was down, oil and energy were down as well. Today, we bought some Dash and added Palantir, 0.7 beta, 1.74% open heat. Bottom line is bulls defend another gap down to close the week green. And finally, our Monday keys, S&P versus 200, RSP versus 200-day, Qs versus 200-day, and watch, of course, the leaders action. So the first name I want to go over, of course, is Dash. We bought Dash today. Undercut reclaimed the 50 and 21 EMA. Just taking a stab at some of these leaders holding up with high relative strength. Palantir, we added on to this as the undercut reclaimed the 21 and 50 as well on elevated volume. So we tried that as well. It's still quite far off highs, same with the RS line, but it has a 99 RS rating and it's definitely holding up much better than other names. I want to quickly go over the other names we own. GLD, pulling back, but still acting great. SLV, body support 21 EMA. Netflix, undercut reclaim the 21 and 50 again, putting in a little pivot here. We could definitely continue higher if the market does resolve to the upside. TGTX is a standout name, continuing to make new highs. RBRK, gap down. This one actually didn't rally, so it's showing little relative weakness today, closing below the 50-day. And then we talked about Palantir and Dash. So continue on. Just go over the 21 over 20 list for the week, and then we will wrap it up. WGS was the standout today. Broke out of this horizontal line over 100, and this looks great. I'd say another buy area would be right there. Palantir, we talked about that. TGTX, talked about that. We own that. BJ's, not really a growth story, but just a name holding up well. Undercut reclaim the 21 EMA. Spotify is definitely holding up really well. This 600 level definitely looks like an area for a buy. Okta, another standout, forming a perfect post-earnings gap flag. This is definitely a high on watch as well. NTNX, sloppy base, but another relative strength name. Lemonade, 97 RS. It really hasn't done anything. Just can't get anywhere with the 2150 here. Really needs some range expansion for us to be interested. AR, double bottom base, triggered actually above 41.17. We had the swift V-shaped recovery, and now perhaps it puts in a handle like this. YUMC, China name, pulls back to the top of the base, undercut and reclaim that level. Talked about gold. SC, really nice support so far at 50, but really no momentum there yet. John Deere is a name that was down 1% today. Pull back to the 50-day. FEZ, the Euro Stock Index, also pulled back with the US strong today, but found support at the 21 EMA. DoorDash we bought today. Baba weak with China weak with lower than expected economic growth. MP Materials pulled back, held at the 21 EMA. Gold miner still strong, just flagging so far. We have silver down, held the 21 EMA. KWeb broke the 21 EMA. We sold this in Turbo, and then finally RBRK, we own this. It closed below the 50-day. So the bottom line, really, bulls defend another gap down. And when we look at the S&P 500, we have 4 weeks down in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. We finally put in the first clean week in 4 weeks. And because of quad witching today, there's huge volume, but it's not a follow through day as we're only up 0.08%. With that being said, I'm going to wrap it up for this week and this video. If you're interested in becoming a client or anything we do, you can email me at ted@revereasset.com. You can also email Dan or Don at revereasset.com. My X or Twitter is Ted H. Zhang. Our phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. Our website is revereasset.com, and our YouTube is also Revere Asset. With that being said, I'll wrap it up for today's video in this entire week. This is Ted Zhang with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your week, and have a great weekend.